All right, so let's talk about what's happening at 33 hours and why your body, your stress may feel different right now. Hey, at this point, you're not just skipping meals. Your body has crossed what I call the transition point. You're moving from fuel dependence to fuel flexibility. From what I ate today to what I've stored and can move and can now use. And that's what we're going to unpack tonight. Calmly, practically, with your actual numbers, my actual numbers on the screen right here, right now. Hey, 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 welcome back. If you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. I am here because I want you to have the success in your health, just like you're having success in other areas of your life, so that you can show up for the things that are important for your family, for your friends, for the community. You don't need superhuman strength. What you need is a strategy you can trust. You need a plan you can follow, and you need the encouragement and the support to keep showing up every single time. Hey, once again, if you're new to me, go ahead and put new in the comments, because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music and let you know that we are excited that you are here. That's right. So that you can come hang out with us. Glad that you're in this space. If you do have comments, if you have questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat so that we will know that that's one that we need to get to. And make sure you put a Q in front of that, so we'll get into it as we go through the rest of the show. And so I've got next to me right now, I've got my monitors. As we get into the rest of the show tonight. One of the things, as we move through the show, and talking about moving, one of the amazing campaigns that we've got going on is our MOVE campaign, Metabolic Optimization via Exercise. And this is a perfect example of integration, which is what we're talking about this week. So let's go ahead and let's look at that promo right now. Welcome to MOVE, Metabolic Optimization via Exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is MOVE. Let's get started. All right, so I am excited about that episode, or not that episode, but that series that we're doing. Remember, our goal here is to provide for you the space where you can just come and you can plug in, and you can become a part of what we're doing. Hey, I want to say welcome to you, whatever platform you're on right now, whether you are here on Facebook, you're on YouTube, you're on Twitch, you're on LinkedIn, wherever you find yourself, welcome. And welcome to all of you from whatever city, town, country, village, wherever you are. Go ahead and drop that in the comments, because we'd love to say hello and welcome you to the space and give you a shout out wherever you find yourself and wherever you're watching us from. A special shout out to our Accelerator members. Thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. And then this week, a special shout out to our folks from Atlanta, Berean. We had some comments on one of the videos that we had some folks who were joining us from Atlanta, Berean, and I responded to that. If you've not looked at that yet, we did respond to that message that you sent us through YouTube. And also, one of the comments was that they wanted to join us for fasting. And so we start our fast on a weekly basis on Tuesdays. And we do our pop-ups right about maybe 1-ish, 1:30. Central Time. So that starts on Tuesday when we start the fast, and then Wednesday and Thursday as well. We have the same schedule, and then of course here we are on the show tonight. So let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at our check-in. So we're doing a check-in for fasting, but we're also doing a check-in because I like to talk about what's going on in my body. There are three areas that we want to look at. And that's what's happening with me physically, mentally, and emotionally, because those are the places where we will find that people will have their biggest issues: physical, mental, and emotional. These are places most people feel the fast first. Okay, so let's walk through and let's talk about those. So physically, people often ask, what should my energy level feel like? Right? Should I be tired? Should I be wired? Should I be weak? And right now at 33 hours, first, I am feeling a bit tired this week because sounds like I'm catching a cold, and you may hear that in my voice a little bit. I'm not feeling weak or dizzy, no sweaty, no palpitations, but I could tell, right? So plus it's cold, and we're coming off the heels of some travel. So lots of things going on. And so physically, I'm not 100%, but I'm not feeling like I'm hitting a wall or I'm walking through mud is another thing that people talk about. And if you're not feeling exactly the same, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong, right? So if you're not feeling 100% all the time, it could be that something else is going on. Maybe you're catching a cold, maybe you didn't rest, maybe you've been traveling. But you do want to pay attention to your body as we are moving through the fasting, because physical is one of the most important. The next, of course, is mental, right? So mentally, how are we feeling? And when we talk about what's going on mentally, this tends to go along with the energy that comes from the physical, right? So your body's adapting, but mentally, do you feel clear? Do you feel foggy? Do you feel dull? And we'll talk more about why this can happen when we do our complete review of fasting on Friday. When you come back, when you come back, we'll walk through how do you prepare for the fast, how do you get through the fast successfully, and then of course, how do you break the fast. For now, I am actually feeling pretty good. I'm thinking clearly. I'm feeling sharp. Even though I'm tired and I can tell that, yes, something is coming on. I've been doing a good job of hydrating. I'm going to get some good rest tonight, right, to make sure that I kind of stave that off. So physically, mentally, and then finally in our check-in is how are we feeling emotionally? So emotionally looking at ourselves is important because the energy that comes from the physical and the thought process that goes into the mental will show up here, right? We can feel irritable, we can feel down, we can feel lots of things in the emotional if we're not doing a good job of the other, right? Of the other two. And because I've been doing a good job, because I noticed something was going on, and so, like I said, physically I'm not 100%, but I've been getting good rest, and I feel like I'm thinking properly. Emotionally, I'm still functional, right? And so all of this, once again, all works together, and that's the whole idea of the integration that we're dealing with this week. So we often think that things don't affect each other, but they do. And one of the conversations I've had this week, actually today, with a lot of people is how different aspects of our lives will affect our blood sugar and then ultimately how it affects our metabolism. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and let's take a look at my numbers. And we're going to start by looking at my Libre, and that is right here. So you'll see right now that my Libre says that my blood sugar is 62, right? So that's the number that you see right there, 62. And if you look at this graph down below, you'll see that for most of the latter part of that graph, the blood sugars have been kind of hanging in the red. The first part of the graph means that where it's white means that those blood sugars are above 70. and then below where it's red is when it's below 70. And so if I take my finger now, I can kind of scroll across, and you'll see what those numbers are right there, right there. And so right there, it dropped below 70 for the first time. And then for most of the afternoon and into this evening where we are right now, we've kind of stayed there. And we popped up 70 just a little while there, and then back down, which is what I would expect. Okay. Now there is and we've talked before, and when we see the Dexcom, you'll see some differences there. There is a difference between what the Libre gives and what the Dexcom gives. And if you've been kind of paying attention to what's been going on in the news, there's been a recall on some of the Libres, and so you make sure you're touching base with your healthcare provider, because they should, and your pharmacy actually should be contacting you as well. Okay. Now, if I take a look at that, and I'm going to move over into insights, I'm going to look at reports. And specifically, I want to look at two reports: time in range report. Right, that's how often I'm in range. And I'm going to go directly to the 90-day, because the 90-day is what gives us the A1C and is a marker of what's been happening over the last 3 months. And so we're looking at these numbers right here. You'll see that I'm in range 86% of the times, and then 13% low, and then 1% very low. And those that you see down here where it's low or very low, that's typically when I'm fasting. Other than that, I'm in the range that we're looking at. Getting out of that report and going into one of my other favorite reports is this one right here, which gives me my average. And so you'll see there, this is my average for the last 7 days, which is good. But what I want to do is I'm going to change from this. I'm going to go over to 90 days, right? So 90 days, because once again, this is where we're looking at the A1C. So the A1C is going to give me 90 days. So I want to look at what's been going on for 90 days. And then right here, we can break the blood sugars down based on what's been going on at different times of the day. The reason I like this is that I could then make my own decisions about what to do through the day in terms of eating and exercise and so forth based on what's going on with my blood sugar. That's why I love these graphs, because they give me the opportunity to make changes for myself and make decisions based on what's happening in my body. And now let's go ahead and let's look over at the Dexcom. And let's see. So here we are. And you'll see my average right now is, well, not my average, my blood sugar right now is 82, is what the Dexcom says. And then just like we did on the Libre, we can go down here to the graph, and I'm going to go to 24 hours because that gives us a fuller picture of what's been going on over the last day. And so now I've got my blood sugar there. I'm going to put my finger on that graph and kind of run through, and you'll see there. So that's what's been going on. So we've been in the hundreds. And what I want to do, actually, let me go back to 12 hours for a minute, because what I want to do is I want to see where this one says that my blood sugar went below 70, if it did. And you'll see that for this, it doesn't seem to have done that, because that line, the red line right below that would be 70. And according to this, it never went below 70. And so it's about 10, maybe 15 points higher than what the Libre was showing. Okay. So you'll see that there, 80, 80, 80. And then looking at the summary graph, I like this one because I can look at the summary of what's been happening with my blood sugar, 3 days, 7 days, 14 days. And of course, what we're interested in is this 90-day one, because the 90-day is where we get our A1C. And so you'll see average blood sugar of 114, according to the Dexcom, and my glucose management indicator, which is that 6.0 that you see there, is a surrogate for my A1C. So if I were to get an A1C, that's what I would expect it to be. Now, I can't call it an A1C because it's a calculated number, but when I get my numbers, when I get my labs, I would expect it to be that. And we're actually getting labs here coming soon. We were supposed to get it a couple weeks ago. some things were going on, so we're a little delayed in getting labs. So we'll get that here in the next couple of weeks, well, a week or so. We'll try to do it, and then we'll have that available. If you have not seen the episode yet, where we actually walk through our labs, my personal labs, as I was going to see my physician, make sure you go back and watch that, because that was a good one to look through. So now let's go ahead, and I want to look at what's happening according to my monitor. So I leave this up. Actually, let me go back to a different, let's go back to a different view. There we go. And so let's go ahead and see what these guys are saying. And so this is my Keto Mojo. And then, of course, here is my contour. And for us to have a good success here, I need to grab my container, and we'll get a couple of strips. So here I have a brown strip. This is for blood sugar from the Keto Mojo. I need a blue one for ketones. I need strips for the contour, and then I need lancets. We need lancets for this as well, okay? All right, so first, let's go ahead and get a strip into the contour. And I've been fasting for 33 hours, a little over 33 now. So what do you think my ketones are going to be? Let's go ahead and bring this up. All right. And I'm going to open this one and just have it off to the side. And then find a finger. All right, so we've been picking on this one, so we're going to go ahead and keep doing that. And get a stick. So go ahead and start putting into the comments, what do you think my ketones are going to be? And I see somebody is already dropping in the comments. Let's see. Not a brisk drop, but enough for us to get that started. We need another one for the contour, and these are both blood sugar. So 69 is what the Keto Mojo says. 70 is what the contour says, and right here you see that the Libre says 62. So pretty much, I mean, they're keeping pretty close to each other. So let's go ahead and let's get another drop, because then we'll need to get our ketones, and go ahead and get that started before this dries. Otherwise, I'll have to give myself another stick, which I don't want to do. Let's go ahead and get that going. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, and I'll get this one off the table. And so I see some people putting guesses in there already. So 0.7 is what it is. And so let's go ahead, and I'm going to try to pull that over on my Keto Mojo app. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that pulled over. Let's get out of that, and let's go ahead and hit sync. And so when we talk about ketones that are less than 0.5 considered normal. Let's try again. 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and then above that, therapeutic ketosis. And so right now we are in that nutritional ketosis period, which is what you saw there, 0.7. So that means that my body is right now burning fat and converting it into energy, and so that's where those ketones are coming from. Okay. All right, so while that is syncing, let's go over here and let's see and say hello to some of our community members. And let's do it this way first while that's, here we are. And let's see, let's get rid of that one. All right, here we are. So I see Gian out there. She says, hi, Doctor and LLG. Let's see, why Just a second here, y'all. Okay, there we are. It says, hi, doctor, in LLG from Gian. Hey, Gian, thank you for coming through. And she says she completed her 48-hour fast, and this was her 14th week. Congratulations. All right, so this is her 14th week of doing a 48-hour fast. So she said, "You look like a young boy today." Yeah, I got my cap on, and this, by the way, is my Limitless Living cap. By the way, let me can I take it off? Yeah, so there it is. This is my Limitless Living cap, ball cap. All right, there you go. Okay, hopefully that didn't mess up my sound, but that's okay. All right, get that back on. All right, so you look like a young boy. So thank you. And then so Gian was guessing 0.4 was the ketone. Give me a second here, guys. All right, and then Steve says hello, friends. Smiley face. Hi, Steve. Hey, thank you for coming through, and hello to Gian. Just love being in this space with our community. Some amazing stories, by the way, that you're hearing, and was talking to Steve, and he's having some amazing things go on with him as well. So just excited that this community is growing and the community is having good results in their health. So let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's get into our discussion for this evening. Okay, let's do that right now. All right, so we're talking about what's actually happening at 36 hours. And so this is where I talk about the transition, okay? So what's going on in the body, and I call this the transition zone. So motivation has been what started us. So we came into the week, oh, we're going to fast. And it was exciting, and we started moving through that process. And now we have gone through the first 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 hours, 24 hours. And so motivation may not be the thing that takes us all the way through. Now, you may be fully motivated, pumped it. This is your first time fasting. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And you white knuckle your way through. But here, right, so we're talking about how do we put something in place that helps us to be able to do this over the long haul. And so motivation has handled the initial, the start, and now it's handing the wheel over to your metabolism. So at the beginning of the week, we're excited. We jumped in. I'm going to fast. Yeah, everything's going to be great. And then now motivation is starting to wane. And that's what happens with motivation. By the time you reach 36 hours, motivation is beginning to fade, but metabolism is saying, I got you. I got you now. And so we're talking about what we're doing or what's going on in our 36-hour pace. And that's that transition zone, right? The transition point. And so motivation is handing the wheel over, like I said. And so glycogen stores are largely depleted, insulin is low, glucagon is elevated, growth hormone is up, right? So all those changes that are going on in our body. Fatty acids are being mobilized from the liver. Ketones are being produced. The brain is beginning to use more ketones. And so this is that space. Your body is moving from short-term sugar management to long-term fuel flexibility. And it's saying, hey, I got some stuff that I've been storing. That's what I'm going to use right now. So when that handoff goes well, you begin to see smoother blood sugars, calmer hunger, and more even energy. That's that metabolism taking over. And this is actually a perfect place for us to talk about what our topic for this week is, right? So if you've not, our topic for this week is integration. So this is the working of all of our systems coming together and doing for us what we want them to do, right? So clearly, when we are looking to improve our metabolism, we want all of the systems working together. And fasting being one of the pillars of the Health Action Plan, that one of the, actually, if you think about it, tier 1, this is one of the most important pillars, and we want this to be working with everything else that's going on in our body. Okay? So that's what's happening in the body right now. That's what I call, like I said, the transition zone. That handoff is going well. And when the handoff goes well, like I said, by this time at 33 hours, if you've been hydrated, if you've been resting, if you've been doing the things you need to do, you stay in a structured way, then cortisol starts to settle into a cleaner, clearer rhythm again. And the body begins to recognize this, particularly if you've been doing this over a longer period of time. Now, as you get better at fasting, as you do it more frequently, as you become more structured, then the body is becoming more and more flexible. So when you go into fasting, then you don't have the same response to changes in metabolism, because you begin recognizing, oh, okay, this is what's happening at this period. Oh, I'm feeling a little colder. This is what's happening because my body is shunting the blood away from my skin. Oh, I feel a little dip in my energy. Okay, this is what's happening because my body's changing from burning sugar, now it's changing to burning fat. Okay? Your sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight, begins to calm. And your parasympathetic tone, that is that rest, digest, repair, is starting to rise. And you begin feeling a little calmer, less edgy, and your perception of stress begins to change. The same schedule, the same emails, the same problems suddenly don't feel as overwhelming. Okay? So that's what's happening. That's what's happening in the body right now. And so resilience. And we've talked about resilience in the past. So resilience is that ability to bounce back. And so when we are going through this transition, this is the ability of your system to say, okay, I understand what's happening. I don't have to react in an abnormal way. I don't have to break the fast. I don't have to get off of my plan because I now understand what's happening in my body. Right? It's a biological outcome. Resilience is not a personality trait. Oh, they're resilient, or he's resilient, she's resilient. It's not a personality trait. It's a biological outcome. At 33 hours, your body isn't just burning fat. It's actually retraining how to respond to stress. So let's talk a little bit about what's normal at 33 hours. you can see different things going on. And as you begin to learn your body, then you understand specifically what's happening there. So we're going to go through and we're going to talk about some things, and I already mentioned a few of them, but your body responds differently than mine. There's some general principles. For instance, you heard me talk a little while ago about chilliness, being a little colder. That happens because the body's shunting blood away from the cells, or from the skin. You're becoming quieter on the inside. The butterflies are calming. You may see some brief lightheadedness. You may feel your mood changing. These are all processes that are going on, and this is normal. Okay? So here's how you read that. So mild chilliness, right? Metabolism is shifting. Blood is being shunted out inward because the body now is not having to maintain all the things that have been going on, and it can now turn its energies into repairing. And so that blood is being flowed into the inner parts of the body so that as autophagy and all those other hormonal changes are happening, then there's blood flow that goes there. The mood calms. The thoughts are clearer because ketones are stabilizing. And remember, the brain loves ketones. It uses beta-hydroxybutyrate. We have BDNF, which is another type of substance that works in the brain. It's like Miracle-Gro for the brain. Cortisol is smoother. These are all good signs. You may have some brief irritability, right? So you're noticing, the brain is noticing that there's a fuel change. And this passes when there's hydration, when you have understanding what's happening in the body, and there is structure to support it. We'll talk about supporting that change here in just a minute. You may have some sudden racing heart, particularly if you've not been doing a good job of hydrating. Right? You may have a bit of lightheadedness. That's due to hydration. Once again, you want to pause. You want to check your blood sugar, particularly if you are prone to low blood sugar, if you're on medications that are lowering blood sugar. Check your blood pressure. And then consider adjusting the fast if needed. Because remember, we are listening to our body. We're not just plowing straight ahead because, okay, by God, this is what they say I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. No, we are, our series, remember, Play Your Own Game. We are doing things in our body that are beneficial, but we're also doing things that are safe. We're not trying to be heroes. This is not a race. We're trying to be informed and do things in a strategic way so that we can do it over the long haul. Okay? We can do it over the whole long haul. So what are some things that we can do in the time, right? If we're noticing some of these changes, what are some practical things that we can do? Well, the same tools that we've been talking about before, right? Number one, hydrate. Make sure you're hydrating. At this stage, even mild dehydration will show up and make your heart go faster, make it work harder, will exaggerate your lightheadedness, and it will make your stress feel louder. So as you're moving through this, you want to sip water regularly. And you see me grab my mug here, right, as I go throughout the show, and I'm mindful of making sure that I'm sipping as I go through the day. If you need electrolytes, sodium, maybe a little, drop some of that into some water. That can help as well. You want to avoid chugging, right, all at once. So this can cause nausea. It can cause discomfort, right? So number one, making sure you're hydrated. Number two, you want to do some deliberate breathing, some breath work, controlled breathing, box breathing, for example, right? So breathe in for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. and then hold that full 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you do that 3 or 4 times. And what that's doing is that's calming the system. This shifts the nervous system towards calm. If you feel stress, before we open the refrigerator, before we go and reach for that thing that normally throws us off, right? Let's do some of this. Make a decision about what we're going to do. And this is actually a good place to talk about these pre-decisions that we make. And this is kind of like an if-then algorithm. So if this happens, then I'm going to do that. Often what we do is we wait till we're in the situation and then we're trying to decide. No. And it's not that it is automatic, but the more we do it, the better we get at it. So if I feel hungry, then I'm going to drink some water. If I feel frustrated, then I'm going to go for a walk. Right? So make those rules, make those predeterminations so that when it happens, you're not then trying to figure out what you're going to do. Right? So, and then number 3, protect your boundaries. So 1, hydration. Number 2, controlled breathing. So work on that, breath work. And number 3 is protect your boundaries. Often we become entwined in a lot of extra stuff. And so we don't have the capacity for ourselves because we've overcommitted and we've spent a lot of time doing other things for other people. And a big one, and I talked about this a lot today, is we're not resting. We're going all the way up until we're just so exhausted and we just pass out on the bed. That's not how we want. We want to be strategic in our use of our time so that we are doing what we can do to be successful. And when it comes to our time, we want to protect the blocks. What are the blocks, right? So we want to protect our morning, because as we go into the morning, whatever happens in the morning sets the tone for the rest of the day. We want to have some time during the day where we are coming aside and we're dealing with some of the stresses that may be piling up. And it doesn't have to be long, 2-3 minutes. Just go to the bathroom, say, hey, give me a minute. Go to the bathroom. And in the bathroom, you have your activities that you do, whether that's breath work, whether it's a meditation, whether it's some visualization, something, but you're protecting those boundaries. And then at the end of the day, you've heard me talk about bookending, right? Doing something in the morning, doing something in the evening. And what that does is it sets you up for success the next day. So this is not a time to go through all of the emails from today to see which one I didn't answer and become stressed all over. Because now you go to bed and your mind is what? It is rehearsing all the things that you just put in there. So no emails, no scrolling. This is not a time to have people calling you. Sometimes we schedule those meetings right before bed. We schedule conversations. And so we get off of meeting, which is great, but our mind is now going with all that stuff. When you do this, you're sending your stress system one clear message. We're not in crisis. This is controlled, designed. It's a process. So once again, that transition. So the body, the motivation is not there. So we've got to have something else that's going to help us go through. And so when motivation is gone, this transition zone. So we're talking about 33 hours. What's going on in 33 hours? What's normal and what you can do to help your body continue to move. Okay? So now, let's talk a little bit about how we support it. Right? How do we support the crossover? So about your 33-hour dashboard, your body is recording stuff. It is actually a data bank. So in addition to how you feel, you want to also look at things that are objective. Number one, for a lot of people, will be to check your heart rate. And anybody should be able to check your heart rate. Now we've got all these devices that will do it. But basically, you take your fingers and you put it on your, right here on your forearm, right at the corner of your elbow, and you count for 60 seconds what that is. Slightly lower resting heart rate over time is equal to improved adaptation. That means your body is getting used to the process. So you want to get objective data, not just how, okay, I feel good, right? Physically, mentally, and emotionally, great. But now let me get some objective data that corroborates what's happening there. Number 2, sleep. With a solid structure, your sleep pattern or your sleep activity or how you feel when you wake up is better. You get better, more restorative, more restful sleep. Remember, during sleeping is when our body incorporates, our body rejuvenates. And that's the word I should use. So you want restful, restorative, rejuvenating sleep. So as your body is adapting to this process that you've put in place, then you begin to get better sleep. And so for those of you who are out there, you're diabetic, or you've heard me say, hey, you need to be monitoring blood glucose, which is what I love doing this with my monitors. You should begin seeing more gentle, more stable blood sugars, not these big spikes, right? Not these sharp peaks and these big drops. Because what's happening now, when the system is transitioning, when the system is getting used to this, the body now doesn't have to use just the fluctuating blood sugars. It is using other sources of energy. We're not chasing perfect numbers as we're looking at this as well. We are learning patterns. When we hydrate, when we rest, we breathe intentionally at 33 hours, then the stress response is calmer. My numbers are smoother, and I feel more resilient. And that's the goal, is to be able to absorb capacity-wise the things that are going on around me. Often, the thing that throws us off is that one event that we can't, for some reason, absorb. Oh, I was going along fine, I hear. And then I should say I hear, because it happens to me as well. I'm going along fine, and we went on vacation. Or we're going along fine, and something happened at work. Or we're going along fine, and like right now, I'm getting a cold. I got a cold. And if we're not careful, right, because we've not set up a system that helps us to be resilient, then that one event expands or uses up our capacity to function. And because the capacity is not there, everything else falls apart, which is going back to our initial thought that I was telling you earlier, the integration. So when all of our systems are integrated, we have better ability to be resilient. We have bigger capacities. See how that all flows together? Yeah, so that's what we want. So supporting that. So those are ways of supporting the crossover at this period right now. And so let's talk a little bit about your 24-hour or your 33-hour dashboard data. How do you do this? What does that mean? So as you're looking at yourself, your body, like I said, is the data, I want you to begin recording information. So if this is your first fast, this is your second fast, this is your third, whatever fast it is, you should have a way of documenting what the blood sugars do, documenting what your sleep is doing, documenting how your energy levels are. Because what we want to do is we want to begin tracing how we feel as we get better at fasting. Okay, last week, when I got to 33 hours, I was totally exhausted. Well, this week, as I got to 33 hours, I actually felt better. This week, my sleep was better. My blood sugar seemed more stable. Now I can take that and I can look back and say, okay, now I've seen a direct correlation between what my blood sugars are and what my fasting is. So use ourselves as that data bank, because our body is recording stuff. It's sending us signals. And if we're not paying attention, then we can, of course, miss, right? We miss those signals. And we don't want to miss those signals. We want to make sure that we are doing what we can to be successful there. Okay, so that's your dashboard. Let the data talk. And we're looking at this, by the way, without judgment. We are not saying, oh my goodness, my blood sugars are still fluctuating, so I must be doing something wrong. We just want to observe. Oh, you did bad because you ate a cookie but right before you went into fasting. That's why this is happening. No, none of that. So let's get the data. We can process the data objectively, and then, and we'll talk about this in a minute, then we make changes. Okay? We make changes. And so what's this, so as we go through the transition, let's talk a little bit about what we've learned and seen. Here's the big takeaway. At 33 hours, your body isn't just burning fat. It's asking, can I trust the structure that I've put in place when food isn't coming in on the usual schedule? Because we've gotten used to eating frequently, first of all. We've gotten used to eating large things, like large meals. And now that we're not getting that coming in, then the body, we have to learn to trust it again. I can't tell you the number of times I hear people say, well, I can't fast because I'm going to get hungry, or I'm going to get a headache, or I feel I'm going to pass out. Well, we've gotten used to food coming in, and so now we've got to learn to trust the process. And that's one of the beauties of the fasting that we've done and that we're doing. When you get to the end of the fast, you've done several things. One, you've convinced yourself that it can be done. Two, you've convinced yourself that, hey, I'm not in danger. Three, you've convinced yourself that I don't have to eat all the time. Right? And so one of the things I've asked people to do is keep what's called an I can journal. And the I can journal is simply a list of things that now support your decisions to be healthy. I can fast. I'm giving an example. I can fast for 24 hours. I can walk for 100 days. I can do some strength training. I can eat in a certain way. I can. It's supporting your decisions. You are now putting supporting data into your data bank. You're giving evidence. Self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the idea based on history, not based on my whim, based on my imaginations, but self-efficacy is the idea that based on what the history says, I can make decisions by my choices, by my ideas, and my behavior. I can chart the course of my health. Right? So I can trust the structure when food isn't coming in on a regular basis. When the structure is clear, when hydration is in place, when rest is protected, when the rhythm is predictable, when the boundaries are honored, then cortisol stabilizes, energy stabilizes, and your brain begins to trust that fasting is a pattern, not a threat. And the systems begin to integrate. We don't need a lot of inspiration. It's not a lot of hype. It's just biology responding to the structure that you've put in place. Okay? That's the idea. And so let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the inner design loop. Our inner design loop, three components of that: anchor, align, and adapt. Anchor, we're anchoring our behavior. We're looking, okay, who am I? What do I do? What am I about? I'm aligning. Are the things I'm doing, the behaviors, the choices I'm making, are they taking me in the direction that I want to go? And if not, or what tweaks can I make to make sure that this is where I need to be? So, what this week pulled you or kept you on course? All right, so we're talking about fasting, the IDL in fasting. What kept me on course? What is something that helped me in this direction? Was it a thought about my daughter, my son? Was it an idea that I needed to be healthy, to be around? Was it a desire to be around so I could spend time with my family and friends? Was it a desire, now that we're getting ready to retire, for me to want to be energetic and be functional so we can enjoy the things that we've been pouring all of our energies into saving for? Remember, it's not just about that number. And then are the choices, so that's the anchor. The alignment, are the choices I'm making consistent with where I say I want to be? If I'm trying to lose weight, are the choices I'm making supporting my weight loss? If I'm talking about improving my blood sugars, are the choices in food, in sleeping, in activity, are they supporting me getting the numbers I want? If I'm looking to improve my polycystic ovarian syndrome, reverse my diabetes, get my blood pressure down, get my cholesterol better, are my choices supporting me in that way? So remember, so what is my anchor? What is my bent? What am I about? Are my choices consistent with that? And then adapt. I've got to be evaluating. Am I getting from the procedures I'm doing, am I getting from the tools I'm using the thing that I think I should? And if not, what do I need to adjust? This is the inner design loop. It's a loop. It goes back over and over, right? So we are looking at this on a continued basis. That's one of the reasons why we do what we do on a weekly basis. This is not designed to be, let me do this for next week, or let me do this for next month, or let me do this for the next 2 months and then I'm done. This is a process that you are putting in place that's going to help you to be healthy and help you to be around for a long time. And if that's going to be the case, then we've got to have a process of evaluating and adapting and adjusting if we need to. And that's done by the inner design loop. Okay, IDL. Predictability builds metabolic peace. Predictability builds metabolic peace. And so you want to go through the inner design loop on a routine basis. Now, I look at my IDL on a weekly basis. Okay, what did I do last week? What was successful? What do I need to adapt? Is my anchor still holding me? The things I say I wanted, are they still taking me in the things I still wanted, are they still valid for me? And are my choices, and this is an important one, are my choices consistent? Because there are times when I am thinking about doing something, I'm in the process of going and doing something, I may be going to grab something to eat, and the thought comes to my mind, is this consistent with where I say I want to be? Now, that's not to mean that I can't, and I'm going to pick on myself. So that doesn't mean that I cannot eat Cadbury chocolate ever again. But it means that I'm going to make a decision right now that right now I'm not going to have it. I could have some tomorrow. I can have some next week. Right now, I'm not going to have it. And that allows me to have control. I'm going to have it tomorrow. I'm going to have it next week. I'm going to plan for it. And not just because I'm tired, frustrated, angry, whatever the emotion is, and I'm going to go grab it because it soothes me. Does that make sense? And that's the whole idea behind what we're doing. Remember, fasting is a tool, like a hammer. You use it for a purpose, and then you put it down when you don't need it anymore. You're getting better blood sugars, movement on the scale, hormonal changes, and mental clarity. It is a tool. I get to use the tool. You get to use the tool. But you're also training your body for discipline, for trust. You're learning to be more resilient. The systems are integrating. You can't change your metabolic life and keep everything else exactly the same. They are all intertwined. The benefits of one spills over into everything else. Your relationships, your spiritual life, your decisions, all of that. That's why we do things in community, so that you don't walk it alone. Does that make sense? Design the life, build the health, and live limitlessly. We'll continue as we talk more about our fasting and the benefits that we get from that. Join us again next time. So I love the transition that happens at this time, and that's one of the reasons I love looking at my numbers. And I've got my phone, I've got my graphs that are there, and I look at it periodically through the day, because I get excited when I see that blood sugar go down, because I know that if the blood sugar is lower, then my ketones are going to be going up. And if my ketones are going up, then I am in the process of righting my metabolism. And here at 33 hours, remember, it takes 24 right at this time for the glycogen from my liver to go away. And so my body is getting ready, right? It's making that transition. So I'm moving from motivation. I'm into the transition zone. I'm seeing the changes in my body. And then our next episode is going to be 56 hours. That's the adaptation. So once we've moved from motivation, the transition is happening. My body is now in a space that is suited, is being prepared for what's coming next. And that's adaptation. All the changes, all the things that we talk about in terms of metabolic benefits are amplified in that space. So we'll do that tomorrow at our 56-hour check-in tomorrow night right here on the show at 9 p.m. But tomorrow during the day, we'll be at our 48-hour pop-up, right? So our check-in. Come on by and we will talk more about what's going on. And tomorrow night, we'll do our 36 adaptation zone. Of course, Friday, we'll do our complete review, 72-hour fasting, how to prepare for the fast, how to get through the fast, and how to break the fast. And then on Saturday, we've got Video from the Vault. Sunday, we've got This Week in Review. And we'll be right back here on Monday for Dwain Woode MD Live as we continue our Blueprints series. Okay? So now, before we go off, let's go ahead and hop back into our comments and see what's been going on with our community. Give me just a sec. Let me get back over there. And so, let's see, where were we? Let's go back here. We're talking about Gion's 46 hours. Gian says she 46 hours. So hard for me, Steve, and tips. Do you have any tips for me? So Gian is asking for any tips. Let me put that up on the screen. And Steve says that he didn't successfully complete his 48-hour fast this week. I got lightheaded and ended it at 38 hours. Now, Steve, 38 hours is actually pretty good too, right? So one of the things that I want everyone to understand is we are aiming for progress, not perfection. Okay? So Steve was shooting for 48 hours, felt a little lightheaded, ended the fast at 38 hours. So 10 hours early, but that's still 38 hours. And so Gian says, good job. Yes, very good job. Steve says, I was hoping to do 48. Beth completed her 48 fast. So congratulations, by the way. And let me give you a hand clap for all of you. For Gian for doing her, I think you said this was your 14th 48 hour. Steve for getting that to 38 hours. And then, of course, Beth for getting to her 48-hour as they planned. So Gian says, wow, great. Yes, definitely. And she said, thank you, doctor. It was an amazing lesson for me. Yeah, so I'm glad that that's the case. So we, you guys weren't seeing all the changes I was making. Let's go back then. Let's see. So you weren't seeing all the changes I was making. Give me just a minute. Here we are. Let's do this one. Okay, here we go. So let me go back up and start. So Gian saying fasting was tough. Steve says that he didn't successfully make it through. So Gian was saying, good job, Steve, 38 hours. And like I said, yeah, that 38 hours is good. He says, Beth got to her 48 hours. Gian is saying, wow, great. And then Gian was saying, thank you. It was a great lesson for me. Yeah. So love all of that. So y'all, we are all excited when we're here. Our Triple E formula for success. So educate, we empower, we encourage. We educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcasts that we do. We empower with the tools that we're learning, and we encourage with this amazing community that you are a part of and that you're helping to build. Remember, you can be a voice for change. You can say to your family, to your friends, to your community, at your doctor's office, at your church, we can make decisions for ourselves. We can make decisions for our health. Most people don't have poor success because they don't have a desire, because they don't have willpower, because they don't have know-how. We don't have success. We don't have success because we don't have structure. So we educate to change the mindset. We empower it by giving tools, and we encourage with the community that we're here, and you get to be part of that. You get to spread the message that we can be different. We can make other choices. And that's exciting to me. So we'll be back, like I said, over the course of the next few days as we do our pop-ups. We do our check-in at 56 hours tomorrow night. Friday, complete review of fasting. And then as we get into the weekend, our video from the vault, Saturday night. This Week in Review, 6 a.m. Sunday morning right here on 6 a.m. Central on the show. And then back for Dwain Woode MD Live on Monday of next week as we walk through the Limitless Living Limitless Living method, all right? And we are excited for you. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Woode with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. I want you to have success here in your health, just like you're having in all the other areas of your life. That's what I want. So you can show up for the things that are important, for the family, for the friends, for the dreams. You don't need superhuman strength. What you need is a strategy you can trust. You need a plan you can follow, and you need the support and the determination to keep going. The limitless living method says that we're not allowing anything from outside or from inside to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're showing up with our best self, our best health, and our best plans. Thank you for coming through. We'll look at our MOVE campaign, and then we'll be out of here. Good night, everybody. We'll see you in the community. Welcome to MOVE, Metabolic Optimization via Exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is MOVE. Let's get started.